I don't believe you that you will use the money to collect the plastic. That sentence was the one that I was actually most scared of in the beginning when we started CleanHub, because I don't think that anyone ever says that, but I think people do think it. Whenever you give to a cause or donate, you do ask yourself, are they really doing what they say with my money? And since we wanted to be a scalable solution from the get-go, we said, how do we actually prove that we do collect the plastic? Fortunately, my co-founder Florian is a software engineer by now for almost 20 years. So he built the first version of our track and trace solution, because we thought, well, if you can track parcels around the world, you should be able to actually track plastic around the world. So we started building our own track and trace solution. And with that, we track from the collection of the waste all the way through sorting of the waste, and then either into disposal or into recycling. And that helps us to build accountability in the system, because we can actually prove to you that the plastic is being collected. And today I want to guide you through how this actually works. So basically we have an app that is built for the use case of the Global South. We often have illiterate people also using the technology, so we had to build very simple interfaces. And with that, we scan a QR code, for example, on the doorstep. This is one example. We receive the waste, we take a picture of that waste. We have an algorithm in the background running that calculates what it believes how much that bag of waste can weigh based on its dimensions. And then the people enter how much it actually weighs. And in that moment, we already do the first cross-check. Then this waste aggregates, and at some point they drop it off at a collection point where the whole truck is then weighed. So we know this is what they said came from that collection. This is how much was actually checked into the collection point. And there we then start the sorting process, and then we build a stock in the app as well. So we register what is the output of the sorting process. And then, for example, let's say we hit 10 tons of material sorted. That material goes onto a truck. That truck goes over a weighbridge again, and then we double check again how much was on that truck, how much did they say they cleared from the stock. We cross compare, we know what happened. And then, for example, this material then hits the disposal facility, and at the disposal facility they don't know how much waste they will receive. So they will also weigh the truck. We get that weigh slip as well, and then we can cross compare, was there any weight added to that truck, or did we lose waste on the way? Both cases are not ideal, because we don't want to lose the waste that was already collected, because that would mean that it probably ended up in nature again. And we also don't want to gain waste, because we want to know where the waste came from, that we can ensure that it comes from proper supply chain. And so we get that final weigh slip and we cross compare, and if all things even out, then we accept it. And after that, every single truck goes through a lab test where we pull one very specific data point, and that is how much moisture is in the waste. Because we operate in areas where we have high moisture in the air through monsoon, we have heavy rains, and also generally moisture is high, and we don't want anyone to pay for the collection of water. The moisture in the waste typically sits at around anywhere to between 10 to 25%. So on a 10-ton truck, that can make up quite a lot of weight. And we deduct that from the final volume. And this is then the CleanHub certified amount of waste that we collected. And this is then the number that we send into every single impact report. And this is why these impact reports also don't add up on a daily basis, but typically at around the end of the month, when we have all the lab results, when we have the full paper trail. And the beauty is we monitor our supply chain continuously through that system. That means we detect things the moment they go wrong, for example. We don't hope that anything goes wrong, but we also do that because we want to ensure that the supply chain is safe in general. So as soon as a data point is uploaded, we have a set of, by now, more than 28 different algorithms that check the data point, whether or not it makes sense. For that, we got money from the European Union actually to build algorithms for fraud prevention in waste management. And then we have a complete data set. And we use that data set once a year to be third-party verified. So once a year, TÜV Süd comes in as an external auditing body, and they basically check whether or not we have all the data that we claim we have. And by that, we can actually prove how much waste we collected on a yearly basis. and we can distribute that evenly on all orders. And by that, we can actually answer the question whether or not we do collect the waste. This is the one reason why we do it. So we want to protect the claim itself. We want to protect our reputation, but we also want to protect your reputation, that you can make a claim with confidence. The second aspect why we built that track and trace is because we see a bigger issue in waste management. As you might have seen in other videos from us, 25% of global waste is mismanaged post-collection. Even in so-called developed nations like Germany, we still have illegal waste exports. So waste leaves the system and goes, for example, to Malaysia into an unmanaged landfill. So even our waste here from Germany, in my case, can end up in nature because of illegal waste trading. We think that in the end, all waste supply chains should be tracked and traced from the moment where the work begins to the moment where the work ends. Because only through that we can ensure that nothing leaves a managed system, that we stop illegal waste management, that we stop practices where people get paid to collect the waste and then what they do with it is dump it in the next river or into the ocean, because that's the cheapest way. So we hope that this core technology that we're building behind CleanHub is actually at some point scaling out into other supply chains in waste management as well, making the entire space more safe, more protected, and more compliant. And all of that will lead to a cleaner planet. But for now, we basically protect your claim with it.